Hey guys, welcome to another yoga class. My name is Emily, and today I have for you a beginner's yoga class focusing on 3 very common poses that you will see in many yoga classes, and that is Warrior 1, Warrior 2, and Warrior 3, or Virabhadrasana 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you don't really need any equipment, any props. If you happen to have blocks or something kind of in the general shape or size of blocks, you can certainly grab them because I will show you how you can use them. Okay, so other than that, when you are ready, just meet me at the top of the mat. So we're going to start with just a little bit of a warm up before we hop right into our poses. So come to standing, feet about hip distance apart or maybe even a little bit wider. Put a slight bend into your knees, but then roll the shoulders back, lift up tall through the crown of the head. Hands either to heart center or by your side, maybe palms facing forward. And take a big breath in, breath out. Breath in, and let it go. And then put a slight bend in your knees. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, extended mountain pose. So keep the rib cage slightly tucking in, right? We just don't want to go into this big back bend, right? Take any compression to the lower back. So just keep the rib cage slightly down, arms reaching up, and then inhale, gaze up in between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees and forward fold over the legs. Okay, so the belly will come to the thighs. The head and the upper body can just hang heavy. So instead of looking down in between your feet, look back in between your knees. And then your arms, your shoulders, your neck, everything just kind of relaxes here. So take a big breath in. Sigh it out. And then inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or your thighs. Come up to a flat back. Right? So reach the crown of your head forward, hug your belly in, and we're not rounding through our spine here, hunching through the shoulders, but we're also not hammocking through the back and finding some big arch, right? We have a flat back, hence the name flat back, right? So just reach the crown of the head forward, take a big breath in, and then breath out, forward fold, bow back down. Then inhale, sweep your arms out to the side, reach your arms up and overhead, extended mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, we're going to do that again, but we're going to add on. So inhale, sweep your arms up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to that flat back. But this time, bend your knees enough that fingertips can come down to the mat. Step your left foot to the back of the mat and bring your left knee down. Low lunge. So you could have fingertips on the ground framing that right leg. You could have your hands on blocks, whatever kind of works for you. But we're looking for right knee over the right ankle. And then we'll just stay here and stretch for a moment. So roll your shoulders back, press your heart forward, press your hips forward, big stretch. Take a big breath in, let it go. And then plant your hands, lift your left knee, and step your left foot forward next to your right. Once again, forward fold, bow down. Then inhale, flat back, lift up, reach the crown of the head long. Bend the knees, hands come down. This time that right foot steps to the back of the mat. The right knee comes down, low lunge on this side, left knee over the left ankle. Lift up tall through the spine, roll the shoulders back, press the heart forward and the hips forward. And take one more big breath in, sigh it out. Then plant the hands, lift the right knee, step the right foot forward. Once again, forward fold. Then inhale to your flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way to standing extended mountain pose. Reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Give everything a little bit of a shake. Move around a bit. Okay, so we're going to get right into our poses, right? Our warrior poses. So we're going to start with our warrior one. So we're gonna start with stepping back. And then after we have learned our poses, the foundation, what it looks like, what it feels like, we'll move into a little bit more dynamically and we'll kind of flow through these poses. So first, we'll just bring hands to hips, put a little bit of a bend in your knees, and then step your left foot to the back of the mat for our warrior one. So in our warrior one, left heel is down in the back. Right? And so typically speaking, what we're looking for is the left toes to be pointing at more of a 45-degree angle. So towards maybe the front left corner of your mat. Bend into the right knee comes over the right ankle. And then start to straighten as much as you can through that left leg. If, however, this feels really uncomfortable for you, there's a few things that you could do. You could widen your stance, right? Maybe heel toe that right foot out so that you have a wider stance here. Or you could always take those left toes and maybe they don't point so far forward. Maybe they point a little bit more off to the side. All right, hands to your hips. Now, traditionally speaking, what we're looking for in Warrior One is we're looking to get our hips square to the top of the mat. You want to know what? That's not really possible for many people, right? Just the anatomy of your hips isn't going to allow that to happen, and that's not a big deal. So if that doesn't happen and your hips are slightly cockeyed, they're not quite square to the front of the mat, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, maybe one day we work towards that, but maybe we get there, maybe we don't. Okay, so from here, hug your belly in and lengthen your tailbone down just a little bit. Maybe bend into that right knee a little bit more, and then sweep your arms up towards the ceiling. Roll your pinkies in towards each other so that the palms start to face the back of the mat. And then really start to press that left leg towards straight. So press into the outer edge of the left foot. Press into that left heel. Take a big breath in. Breath out. Hands to hips. Bend into the left knee. Step the left foot forward. Shake things out. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So put a little bend into the knees, step the right foot to the back of the mat, bring that right heel down, and then toy with that angle, right? So maybe the right foot is at that 45-degree angle. It's pointing towards the front right corner of your mat, or maybe it's ever so slightly a little bit more open than that, right? Make it feel more or less comfortable for your body. And then bend into that left knee. Left knee's over the left ankle. Hug the belly in, lengthen the tailbone down, reach your arms up, pinkies in, palms face back, and then start to straighten as much as you can through the right leg. Press into the outer edge of that right foot. And take a big breath in, breath out. Hands to hips, bend the right knee, step the right foot forward. Give everything a bit of a shake. Okay, so let's move into our Warrior Two. So once again, bend the knees, step the left foot back, but then this time we're gonna bring the left heel so that it's parallel-ish to the back of the mat, right? And our hips are now open towards the sides of the mat, right? We're not squaring them towards the front. So check in with the right foot. The right knee is over the right ankle, right? The right knee is not like kind of caving into the middle, right? We don't want this. We don't want that right knee caving in towards center, but keep the right knee out, tracking generally in line with that right big toe so that it stays over the right ankle. Okay, then from here, sweep the arms out to the side. And again, it's that slight hug the belly in, lengthen the tailbone down, find that little bit of engagement, and squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. Warrior Two, press into the outer edge of that left foot, strong back leg. Take a big breath in, breath out, hands to hips, bend into the knees, and then just step the left foot to the front of the mat. Give everything a little bit of a shake, and then we'll just do that again on the other side. So we're gonna step the right foot back, and I'm actually gonna keep facing this way because I want you to be able to see it from behind, just in case that's helpful. So we're gonna step the right foot back, bring the right foot down, so the sole of the foot is on the ground, the right foot is parallel to the back of the mat, and then the left knee is over the left ankle. So readjust your feet as necessary. right? A lot of times you'll hear teachers cue that it's either heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. And what they mean is the heel of the front foot is in line with either the heel or the arch of the back foot. And that's going to depend on what feels good in your body. Okay, there's not really one true right way or wrong way. Now, sweep your arms out to the side, lengthen your tailbone down, reach up through the crown of the head, and squeeze your shoulder blades together on your spine. Take a big breath in, breath out, hands to hips, bend into the knees, step the right foot forward, shake everything out. Okay, so moving right along to our warrior three. This pose is a tricky pose, right? It's just a little bit hard for at least most of us, right? Maybe you'll find it easy, and then kudos for you. Okay, so from here, we're just gonna stand facing the front of the mat. You can always have blocks set up for more of a supported warrior three, if that feels good for you, if you feel a little bit better like that. But otherwise, we're going to shift the weight into our left foot. Bring your hands to your hips. And then I like to start, right, to learn kind of the function of this pose, right, by just lifting the right heel off of the mat. Okay, now put a slight bend into that left knee. That slight bend gives us a little bit of buoyancy. And then start to kick that right foot back behind you as you hinge forward at the hips. So you want that right leg to be straight-ish, right? So we have engagement in that right leg. And we also want to be rolling the shoulders back, reaching the heart forward. And maybe we only move that right foot back and lift it off of the ground about, I don't know, maybe an inch or two or a foot, right? We don't have to go to some full expression. Hands can stay at hips, or you could bring your hands to heart center. But then what we're looking for here is actually square hips. So bring your hands back to your hips if you moved them. We want that right hip to be pointing down towards the ground, just like the left hip is. If it feels okay, you can continue to go so that maybe you can bring that right leg and the torso to parallel with the ground. But keep the hips nice and square. Keep the crown of the head reaching long. Keep the shoulders rolling back. And then slowly rise back up. Okay, that was kind of a hard pose, right? So here we go. Let's shake things out. Let's do that on the other side. And remember, you don't have to go to some full expression today, right? Maybe you're only lifting that back foot off an inch or two from the ground. Always okay. So feet come to parallel, hands to hips to start. Shift the weight into your right foot and just lift the left heel off of the ground. And then bend the right knee a little bit, find a little bit of buoyancy. So from here, we're going to start to hinge forward at the hips, keeping the shoulders rolling back while we send that left leg, that straight left leg back behind us. So we're just tilting forward. And in fact, the left toes could always touch down a little bit here, right? You could touch down for support and then lift them up. But then keep on hinging forward. Keep that slight bend in the right knee. And then if your hands are on your hips, right, we want to see if we can bring that left hip square towards the mat. So what we're avoiding is we're just avoiding opening up the hips towards the side, right? We square them off towards the mat. Reach out long through the crown of your head. Keep the shoulders rolling back and keep the left leg engaged, right? So we're not bending it and forgetting that it's back there, but it's strong and it's engaged, even if it's just hovering off of the mat. Okay, one more big breath in. Breath out, and then rise all the way back up to standing and shake out the legs. Okay, so just once, we are going to go through all three of those poses in succession, but instead of stepping back, we're gonna go into our downward facing dog, and we are gonna step forward. Know that you could just step back if you want, okay? So otherwise, I want you to meet me in downward facing dog. So maybe we come to tabletop first, all fours, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath of hips. And then walk your hands a little bit forward, tuck your toes under, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So in our down dog, our knees can be bent. Belly presses towards the thighs with the hands pressing down and forward. And take a big breath in, breath out. Now, take your left foot, place it a little bit more in the center of the mat. Reach your right leg back behind you. Three-legged dog. And take a big breath in. On your breath out, I want you to crunch your right knee into your chest, bring it forward so we kind of come through a plank pose. Now we're gonna see if we can step the right foot in between the hands. It probably will get stuck halfway, and that's okay. Take your right hand, grab the right foot, bring it forward, and then come up to fingertips. So this is where I like to use blocks as well. So you could have your hands on blocks that just lifts the ground up towards you, makes the pose a little bit more accessible. But let's set up our feet before we even get up to our warrior one. So bring the left heel down, which might require you stepping that foot in a little bit. Left heel is down with the left toes pointing at perhaps that 45-degree angle. Right knee is over the right ankle. And then inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Warrior one. Hips are square-ish to the front of the mat. And take a big breath in. And then open up warrior two. So sweep the arms out to the side as you open up the hips towards the side of the mat. This probably means we have to readjust the legs, right? Step that left foot back. Bring the left foot parallel to the back of the mat. And then check in with the right knee. Make sure it's still tracking over the right ankle. So if the knee's caving in, either heel toe the right foot in or just press the right knee back out. Arms sweep out. Warrior two. Take a big breath in, breath out. Warrior three. This is going to be a kind of tricky transition. So we're going to sweep the left arm forward to meet the right at the top of the mat. Pivot so that we're coming towards the front of the mat. The left heel pivots up. And then bring your hands to heart center and see if you can just lift that left leg back behind you. So we're balancing on that right leg. Right knee can be slightly bent. Toes, left toes could be barely off of the ground in the back, but roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, reach the crown of the head forward. Take a big breath in, and then breath out. Just come all the way up to standing and shake it out. Okay, we're gonna do all that again on the other side. Warrior one to warrior two to warrior three, and then we're done. So meet me again in that downward facing dog. So maybe we come down to our tabletop first. And then tuck the toes under, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. This time we're stepping our left foot forward. So step the right foot in between your hands, lift the left leg back behind you, take a big breath in, and then breath out. Crunch the left knee in towards your chest, draw it towards your elbows, in between your elbows, and then step that left foot forward as much as you can. Remember, you can readjust as necessary. Set your feet for warrior one. So bring the right heel down. Let the right toes point forward at that 45-ish degree angle. Left knee over left ankle. Rise up for our warrior one. Right? Readjust if you need. Just because you came to the pose doesn't mean you have to stay exactly as you are, right? If it doesn't feel like it's quite right, fix it. Okay. Press down through that right foot. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, open up warrior two. So readjust the legs, right? That right foot now comes parallel-ish to the back of the mat. So you might have to step it out a little bit further away from the left foot anyways. Left knee is over the left ankle. Hug the belly in, lengthen the tailbone down, reach the arms out long. Stay here and just start to let the legs burn a little bit. Then take a big breath in. Breath out, warrior three. So we're going to sweep everything towards the front of the mat. Reach forward at first just to find length through the spine, but then pick up that right leg, bring your hands through heart center and lift up into that warrior three. That could mean that the right toes are still slightly down, right? Maybe you're just taking most of the weight into that left foot. Maybe the right toes are hovering, but either way, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart towards the thumbs, reach the crown of the head long. Right hip is squaring towards the mat. I know, it's a lot of things to think about. Okay, take one more big breath in, breath out, step that right foot down next to the left and give everything a little bit of a shake. Okay, we did it. So like I said, that's a lot to think about. There's a lot of different things going on in each of these three poses. So come back to this video and practice it as many times as you need, and know that if you don't nail the pose, that's okay, right? You could be in a class and, I still fall out of warrior three all the time because it's a hard pose. It is not something that you learn and then you just nail it every time. So be patient with yourself and with the practice. and come back and do some more videos with me, right? I have a sun salutation A beginner video that walks through a very typical sequence of yoga. But I also have a lot of beginner-friendly videos on my channel, so check them out. And then I will see you next time. Namaste.